This is one of the more amazing opportunities I've had here as a bird surveyor. Because birds respond quickly to habitat conditions, bird data is a biological, ecological goldmine. The pursuit of that data soon cultivates a deep personal investment, a realization of the necessity for what can be learned and applied to conservation biology. Without fail, a bird surveyor puts in time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears until the thought of missing an important record becomes both haunting and seemingly unacceptable. It is the pursuit of this data, the gaps in the map, that drive me. To find the common birds, generalists, I explore common habitats, those already altered heavily by the hands of humanity. During the field season, I push myself to go where my body does not want to go where my imagination and air photo recon insist I must go. To find the birds in need of conservation action, to find the places we must protect, those rare gems of life, I must push past the roads, past the trails, and into the real heart of wild landscapes. This is the pursuit of bird data, the richly rewarding lifestyle of a backcountry bird surveyor. Alright, so this is one of the dreaded parts of my whole field season, was just trying to figure out how to get across the river. Property boundaries can be a real issue when you're bird surveying, and you got to respect them. So I use managed forest open land and forest crop law. This whole situation here is a little sketch, but I tested it out. I got good footing, and as soon as I get down here, I'm gonna have good firm gravel and a lot to work with. So if I can stay upright when it's sloshy like this, and then I got current. Oh, here comes spotted sandpiper. All right, here we go. Yeah, I got good gravel underfoot. Woo, there's a tree trunk right down there. There we go. All right, well, there we go. It didn't suck yet. Okay, I'm waist deep. Dip in the back of the pack. I got my valuables in a dry bag inside my day pack. So, a lot of thinking ahead on this one. This should be pretty shallow because it's a gravel bar. And let's see. Yeah. I will say that went exactly as planned, so pretty happy about that. I just missed it, but that was the fledgling, a red-shouldered hawk. So I've got a nest, red-shouldered hawk, fresh scats on the ground, freshly fledged nest, and the fledgling just left this tree right here. So it's a red-shouldered hawk in this beautiful hemlock forest by the river. So I just confirmed a family group here of blue-headed vireos, and I'm getting, if you can hear that nasal little squeak call. So I've got this little family group of blue-headed vireos, And I just confirmed winter wren over there and red-shouldered hawk. So this has been an incredibly productive morning.
Every clue along the way reveals something about how well birds are doing. The begging calls of sapsuckers and the collection of delicate spiderwebs for use in a hummingbird nest speak of a future in progress. So many of these birds are tropical migrants coming to us from Mexico and many nations of Central and South America. Vireos feeding new young, turkey vultures at ease in the roost, and Canada warblers scolding to protect her nest represent an international partnership.
Good old-fashioned butt kicking today. Onward. That is the sound of how thirsty I am right now. I just want to plunge my face in there and drink that. What a day, holy crap. Well, I'm back to putting the waders back on and crossing the river. Here we go. What does a breeding bird atlas person do when they're taking an afternoon vacation from breeding bird atlas work? I'm gonna go atlas. I'm gonna atlas one of my old-time favorite spots. I haven't been there in 24 years. Going to a place called Smith's Slough on Pool 8 of the Upper Mississippi Wildlife Refuge. It's on the Wisconsin side. Gonna see who's breeding there.
The Upper Mississippi National Wildlife and Fish Refuge is a remarkable conservation success in that the presence of industry and transportation are woven together with bird-rich and rare wetland habitats. Intensive management allows commerce and conservation to work hand in hand, and the biologists of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Army Corps of Engineers, USGS, and participating DNRs and natural history surveys are heroic in their combination of pure and applied science. I cut my teeth as a surveyor with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and USGS on many of the pools of the mighty Mississippi, and I couldn't imagine finishing the Wisconsin Breeding Bird Atlas without some data coming from the places and birds of my youth.
What I'm trying to do right now is confirm breeding of the prothonotary warbler. And they're in here singing, and I have seen pair interaction, and just got to see the female carrying food. There's the male singing now. So prothonotaries like to nest in a dead snag. They usually nest in a hole, although they can also nest in a little cup on the top. And they nest in that dead snag over standing water. Well, when they initiated nests, there was standing water here, but the water level's down. So what I'm doing is I'm focusing my efforts over here on an area that has a fair amount of sloppy mud, which is an indication that that's where the water was the longest. It might be a flawed idea, but it's a good start. Oh, this is exciting. She's nest building. Where's she going? The reveal. A hypothesis is a testable statement. And in ecology, a lot of times we can't really set up an experiment per se. We can just gather lots of statistical evidence. In this case, that's an N of 1. I have a sample point here that says yes. The place that the prothonotaries chose to build their nest is in a snag that is in the most deeply flooded portion of this forest, even though the water's now gone. The male is whisper singing now, so I think he's a little bit concerned about me. So what I'm going to try to do is get one picture, and then I'm going to head out. All right, this idea of taking just one picture, it's kind of like eating potato chips. I don't think I'm just going to take one. They aren't worried about me. He just went into the nest, and there's chicks in there. He got a fecal sack and flew off with it, and I got the smoking gun evidence, or the steaming fecal sack evidence. So this is a floodplain forest. It's a pretty rare kind of habitat, and it exists in pretty good amounts on the Upper Mississippi National Wildlife Refuge and in the Tiffany State Wildlife Area here in Wisconsin.
Studies by Eileen Kirsch and Melinda Knutson showed higher densities of birds and greater community complexity in the habitats of the river than in the adjacent uplands.
In case you're wondering what this lovely tree is right here, that's how poison ivy grows on the river. Little vines and shoots everywhere. This is all poison ivy.
In addition to supporting many land birds, the floodplain forests of the river support colonial waterbird rookeries that bring up the next generations of great blue herons, great egrets, and double-crested cormorants. These rare habitats carry incredibly high value in the sheer density and diversity of life they support. I returned to the Apostle Islands for a second series of surveys. It felt good to get back into the wilderness again. All around the air was fresh, the water clean and cool, and the sounds of nature pure and soothing. Oak Island's Gaylord Nelson Wilderness Area had been all new to me, a place I had never explored before this year, but the name and his work had been very much a part of my entire life. The late Senator Gaylord Nelson was born and raised in Wisconsin, very near to my own home. He started Earth Day, the Earth Day, in the year of my birth, and he and then Senator Walter Mondale were instrumental in establishing the National Wild and Scenic Riverways Act. The quality of my life is in large part due to the efforts of the late Senator Gaylord Nelson. Thank you, Vice President Mondale, and thank you, Senator Nelson. You've left a legacy wherein places of permanent beauty reside.
So here we have a nice contrast between two types of forest thrushes. There's the hermit thrush and the Swainson's thrush. You could describe the Swainson's thrush as burry, energetic, and ascending, and you could describe the hermit thrush as more sleepy, flute-like, lackadaisical. basically running crisscross ravines on Oak Island, and it's really cool. But now we're gonna go zip-zapping through this ravine. Here we go. And that's how we lose weight during the field season. Oh, I just got a confirmed bird. So I get to the top of the hill just in time to meet Mr. and Mrs. Ovenbird, and they've got a territory here, and they're not too pleased with me. Since I've already confirmed this species multiple times, I'm just going to let them be. Not going to snoop around and leave a scent trail and get them in trouble. So got what I needed. I'm on my way. By the way, half-mile ravine climbing and then 4 5-minute ravine crossings. So I got my cardio up to probably about 35-40 minutes right now. And this is why I'm losing 15 to 20 pounds in a field season. When I'm in the field season, I'm invigorated physically in the environment, up and down hills. It's a very natural type of movement. I get a lot of upper body strength, a lot of core strength. I lose a lot of weight. My heart and lungs get very strong. If only there was a way to do this 365 days a year. So what I'm saying is the agro-industrial world is a heart killer. The hunter-gatherer exploring, sort of moving through nature world is a bodybuilder.
Biologists crave the opportunity to work with a celebrity in species or ecosystem or place. Especially when we're younger and more boastful, there's a swelling of pride that comes with being granted the opportunity to do important work with something or some place that will impart at least a little jealousy in folks.
This is one of the more amazing opportunities I've had here as a bird surveyor, is to survey Devil's Island of the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore. And I just got dropped off. I'm gonna head in, set up camp, and begin work. Good times.
I was honored to survey Devil's Island, the northernmost point in Wisconsin. a spectacularly beautiful place with unique geology and an unusual boreal ecosystem. This was my return, my second run in the field season to complete the documentation of the island's breeding bird community.
Alright, so I've got camp set up, and now I'm going to make what I call a hot list or a hit list of birds that I need to try to confirm as breeding based on my last survey rounds. So here goes. "42 species on the island, of which 12 species have been confirmed. So I need to get at least 9 more species confirmed to make my 50% quota. Score. Northern Parula fledglings feeding, so that's a confirmation of breeding, and I'll move on now to another species. Might have just missed recording it, but the fledgling winter wrens are doing sort of a lost flock whine. I think my favorite habitats to survey are bogs, especially spruce bogs, and each drainage and system kind of changes the dynamics of the microhabitat. Sometimes you get things that are all packed together, sometimes things are more sparse and open. Sometimes you get things like merlins when you get taller conifer trees. This bog is really unique because it's kind of the best of both worlds as a bog and also a brushland.
Confirming ruby-crowned kinglet and boreal chickadee, these truly boreal birds breeding in such a spectacular place, was a real highlight in the field season. Each breeding bird record gathered by adventure and hard work or simple chance is a touchstone, a forever memory, a sense of place. It was a field season like no other, and as I headed for home and looked forward to spending time with my family, I couldn't help feeling that I had just explored one of the grandest chapters of my life, a real capstone. I was filled with gratitude and pride. I wish to offer many thousand thanks to the Wisconsin DNR, the DNR's Natural Heritage Conservation Bureau, the Wisconsin Society for Ornithology, the Bad River Lake Superior Ojibwe Nation, the Great Lakes Indian Fish and Wildlife Commission, and the National Park Service. Without continued information support, constructive feedback, access permissions, and water taxi, my own successes would not have been possible. Conservation is teamwork, and as they say, teamwork is dreamwork. Special thanks to Rich, to Nick, and to Ryan for being there with supportive emails and texts, encouraging and celebrating with me in my solo adventures in the backcountry, all while managing a huge workload themselves. Of course, much love and gratitude for the support of my family, especially in my enduring absence from home each and every summer. The world is a web, and each of us connects many strands.
It's one of the grand moments of reflection. This is year 12 of the bird surveys. cow. And I can see it all from here.